Dr. Lenin to introduce.
So good evening, everyone. I am glad to introduce Mr. Alex Grauser, our next speaker of this event. So Mr. Alex Grauser has a wide global management experience in marketing and sales of multidisciplinary engineering technologies and products with a successful demonstration history of industrial engineering and high-tech industry. He has a high skill experience in the field of marketing and sales, production, key account management, and active business development. He has more than 30 years of experience in international companies in the field of production of cutting tools and super abrasive materials in responsible positions. He has completed his MSc Engineering, professional graduated in electrical engineering in the branch of automation and control of chemical and technological process. He has a wide experience in managing multicultural teams, creating long-term business partnerships, and creating strong new customer base. He's working closely with end users and subcontracts. He's currently serving as a vice president of global sales and marketing, responsible for ADT international strategy, business development of consumable lines. I'm happy to welcome you, sir. So please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your introduction. I want to share my screen. And first of all, it's my honor to be invited to this Sastra University workshop. And thank you very much for the opportunity to tell you about ADT company. So today, my colleague Carlo Arevalo from Philippines and me will briefly speak about our company and our activity. So on behalf of entire team of ADT team, global team, and myself, I would like to wish everyone gathered here good health, happiness, and prosperity. So the most important thing here today is real peace throughout the world. So this is my my issue here. Okay. So let me share my screen. Let's see. Here. Second screen share. So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Advanced Dicing Technology, we call it ADT, so abbreviation ADT, is world-leading manufacturer of comprehensive solutions for composite dicing applications. Within over 50 years, few decades, ADT serves the semiconductors, microelectronics, and optical components industries. So we're providing the full dicing solutions and manufacturing dicing, saw, dicing blades, and peripherals. So let's meet ADT, who we are. So ADT specialized in the development and manufacture of dicing blades, saw, and peripherals for a wide variety of applications. Silicon-based IC, packages, singulations, and hard materials microelectronics components. We have knowledge more than over 50 years, formerly based on KNS that lived in Israel, and after that ADT was established in 2003. So we have a vast experience in the dicing technology, in building a dicing machine, dicers, and peripheral devices, as well dicing diamond blades. We are not a huge company. What I'm proud to say that ADT is a company where innovation never stops. We provided tailor-made solutions according to customer requests. We are a very adjustable company, so we have a lot of solutions for different applications around the world. So I called our company is tailor-made company, tailor-made solutions. We are customer-oriented 100%. We can hear our customers and provided our own solutions for that. ADT is a one-stop shop with the end-to-end research, development, and production held in the company's advanced ISO 9000 and 40,000 for environment certified facilities. Global network of ADT. So we are a global company, and we have dozens of deployment channels. You can see the subsidiaries in United States, East and West Coast. We have a subsidiary in Taiwan with laboratories and good staff, also with technical service engineers. India, we established our Indian subsidiary. Nabil is here also, Nabil Han. We have Philippines and Mr. Carlo Arivalo from Philippine team present here. China, we have a group subsidiary there, and we have also in Singapore, Malaysia. I just show here on this slide is our own subsidiary, but we have dozens of agents and representatives around the world. This slide shows the main industries we serve. You can see here all industries surrounded us, like automotive, lighting, medical, cellular, military and space, computer, and fiber communication. So there you can find all details that for sure diced by a ADT dicing saw or mechanical diamond blades from ADT. Comprehensive application solutions. So we are focusing on packaging and assembly materials, wafer dicing, package singulation, microelectronics components like sensors, medical image details, MLCC, tantalum capacitors, fuse, ceramics, etc. So passive components like lenses, IR filters, and all optical components and so filters. So here on the in the line, you can see the just the few samples of substrates which we are specialized on dicing there. QFN, BGA, LED, glass, ceramics, PZT, PCB. So it's under each circle, you can find hundreds of applications and hundreds of solutions with our own solutions. Okay. ADT dicing saw lines offer a variety of capabilities, configurations, and levels of automation, as well as unique solutions for special materials and applications. The dicing saw range includes automatic saw, full automatic saw with single and double spindles, and well as special machines for tailor-made applications. You can see here, for example, just to show you the different, this is only 1, 2, 3. So we have up to 10 samples of dicers here, but under each series, you can see 100 series, 200 series, 800 series. You can find dozens of different machines. Okay. And some of them, it's unique and tailor-made solution. About dicing peripherals. Solid Edition ADT offers dicing peripherals equipment and accessories such as water cleaning system, water recycling system, spindle weight, water chiller, semi-auto vapor mounting, and more. So all peripheral devices are the part of dicing process. Yes, it's very important to find a suitable equipment for dicing. Finally, you get components which we need to cut, but with all equipment shown here support the process. And dicing blades. ADT's high quality dicing diamond blades range includes resin blades, metal sinter blades, nickel blades, and hub blades. So we have 4 main lines. Supporting the ever-growing customer requirements, ADT blades are perfect dicing solution for various materials and substrates such as QFN, BGA, ceramic, glass, quartz, etc. So, and for other tailor-made solutions for challenging material and application. So I represent here we have two main divisions at our facility in Israel for equipment, and for blades. I represent dicing consumables, and just to finalize, I want to show you the short movie about ADT, which we present around the world on exhibitions. Just please see the movie. We live in a world of constantly evolving. I hope you hear a voice, yeah? Okay. That challenge vendors to prove their adaptability and development capability. Decades of experience place ADT at the forefront of global high tech, providing unique, tailored solutions to the semiconductor industry the world over. ADT provides comprehensive dicing solutions to suit an ever-expanding range of customer requirements. ADT's international headquarters in northern Israel is the site of our two main production facilities, as well as being the home of our global marketing, sales, logistics, R&D, and maintenance and technical support team. Complementing these teams are regional sales and technical support offices in Taiwan, the Philippines, and on the east and west coasts of the United States, as well as a worldwide network of sales agents, representatives, and distributors in the United States, Europe, and Asia. ADT, Advanced Dicing Technologies. Okay, so great. To finalize my introductory chapter and to give the floor to my colleague, Mr. Arevalo, I want to remind you that we are a global company, and we participating in all main semiconductors show and workshops. So next month we will present our products in India and in Taiwan. So I invite all of you to visit our booth in India Semicon and also Taiwan Semicon. So we will be glad to see visitors and then students and professors and all people from your countries to see our products. One additional thing: we are around the world. We have a lot of technical laboratories. For example, in United States, in Taiwan. So we have laboratories, and we're providing technical seminars. We're providing tests and some evaluations for the customers, and making some subcontracting works for our customers. So if you need any assist for your research and development for some projects, we will be happy to assist you and to help you in all projects in your project. Okay. So we have our own staff also in Asia, in Europe, and in the United States, service engineers that support all our customers. And so we are a global company. Okay. So thank you for attention. And I give a floor to my colleague, to Mr. Arevalo. And he will continue with explanation, more technical explanation about our mechanical dicing and blade. For sure, 40 minutes is a very short time for our availabilities. And but if somebody from you want to get more information from us, you can reach us. No problem. 24/7 for you. So, Mr. Carlo, it's your turn. Okay, I'm just stop share my screen. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Alex. Thank you. So let me briefly introduce Mr. Arevalo. So before he start his session, so let me give a brief introduction. So I'm glad to introduce Mr. Carlo Arevalo. So he's from ADT Philippines. So Mr. Carlo Arevalo is a technical sales manager for Advanced Dicing Technologies in charge of Southeast Asia region. So he has a wide experience as an application specialist, handling both hub type and annular dicing blades product relevant to the semiconductor dicing process, providing technical support and training in this region. So I welcome Mr. Carlo Arevalo from ADT Philippines to take it forward. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please.
Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for inviting us to this workshop. I would like to share my screen. Okay, continuing to what Alex has earlier mentioned, I would like to talk to you about the different application and also on the different packages that requires diamond dicing blade in the process of semiconductor or MEC manufacturing. These are the four major processes or applications that requires dicing requires dicing blade and equipment. Package that would be package singulation, microelectronic components dicing, MEC dicing, automotive packages, automotive packages dicing, and semiconductor dicing. Okay, talking about package singulation, there are basically about 4 major volume runners currently in the industry of semiconductors or MEC assembly. That would be QFN, BGA, LTCC, and LED packaging. When you let's talk about QFN. QFN being a packaging consisting of a molded copper lead frame. This material is somehow very unique because it's a combination of two distinct opposite materials. Copper lead frame being a very ductile or very malleable material, combining it with a very brittle or very soft epoxy compound, then there are a few challenges that is happening or that is requiring from the blade or from the dicing process. Some of the things that are giving issues or giving challenges to this particular package is the plating of each of the QFN packaging. There is specifically tin plating in the process, or also nickel palladium plating, which is giving so much issues or so much problems to the blade. So it's very important to have the right amount of balance of wearing and the right amount of balance of the blade to provide good quality and to provide a significant amount of blade life. So what ADT recommends for this particular application of QFN is a resin blade. We have a few models that we support the market of QFN singulation. The particular sizes of this blade would be dependent on the process or the equipment. The outside diameter, the ODs can range from 2, 3, or 4 inches. The diamond grid size range from 45 to 105. Thickness range of the blade from 250 to 500 micron. And a feed rate for 20 to 150 millimeter per second. Spindle speed will also be dependent on what blade diameter or what equipment you are using. So these are all optimized during during the development of the process. Next to QFN is BGA. This is mainly molded PCB. So it's considerably a soft substrate. So the main challenge mainly is to have a blade that would be able to deliver a high amount or a long amount of blade life. For us to be able to achieve such a long blade life, you need to maintain the thickness of the blade, or what they call it, the lateral wear of the blade, to have a good balance with the radial wear. So that would maintain the package size during the package singulation. And another thing is the chippings, because PCB copper traces are very susceptible to peel-offs. So the best, or I mean the optimal grid size and a combination of a lot of blade parameters is important in able to to come up with the best matrix or the best formulation. For this particular application of PGA packages, ADT has a few models also, but it's mainly concentrated on the metal sintered blade. The OD can range from all sizes, from 2, 3, 4, and 5. Diamond grid size from 20 to 70. Thickness range of 100 to as thick as 2 mm is also available. Feed rate can go as high as 400 millimeter per second. Customers have already so much developed a lot of process parameters that they can cut this at a very high speed. Spindle speed would also be dependent on what is the size of the blade or what is the diameter of the blade and the equipment that you are using. Still within the BGA packaging, there's another blade that we are also serving the market with. We call this the Novus blade. This blade in particular is a very durable blade. This was developed to be strong, to be very stiff, and to reduce the risk of breakages and bendings. So the main importance of this blade is to support a high-speed cutting, even if you require a very long exposure of the blade. I mean of the exposure, I mean the length of the blade. If you require a very long exposure, meaning that you're cutting a thick package, and the requirement is to cut it at a very high speed, then this blade was developed and mainly to serve those kind of challenges. Another blade that is also popular, or also one of our special blades in the market, is the S blade. This blade is a combination of maintaining the wear or the shape of the blade while be able to resist loading. In the perfect formulation for this blade is to have a balance of lateral and radial wear. So you would see on this right side of, oh, I'm sorry. You would on the right side of this drawing, on the right side, you would see that as the blade is wearing, you would see that the profile would have very insignificant change. So this is what you want to maintain in order for your package size to be within the specs or to be within tolerance, because the main failure for VGA blades application is the package size going out of spec. So this S blade also comes from different OD sizes, from 2 to 5 inches. The diamond range from 20 to 70 micron. Thickness range of 100 to 2 mm is also available. And this blade is expected to run at very high speed at 400 millimeter per second. The spindle speed will also be dependent on the application or on the equipment that is using, or the blade OD. Next to BGA application is HTTC, or I'm sorry, it's HTCC or LTCC. This is a coal-fired ceramic, high and low temperature coal-fired ceramic substrates fabricated by laminating individual unfired tapes with printed conductor lines on the surface on top of each other and firing them together in a single step. So the main difference between these two type of ceramics, HTCC being a more brittle or more harder because it's mainly alumina, but for the LTCC it's a mixture of alumina and a glass. So the challenges for this particular ceramic dicing is mainly concentrated on the chip size, because you imagine ceramic being a very brittle material and a very chippy material. This can cause a lot of chipping if you are not be able to optimize your blade parameters or your process parameters. Another issue would be on cracks or metal bursts, because this is the natural behavior of the ceramic. It could crack from top, and also it could crack at the bottom. And also package size, because when you are using a blade to dice a hard material, you're going to lose the side profile or the side thickness of the blade, and it can create an odd shape, and this can cause failure to the package size. So for this particular hard material, normally the recommendation or the process would be using a resin blade because it's a soft blade. So ADT have few models like Q, K, and C matrix. The OD sizes would also range from 2, 3, or 4 inches. Diamond grid sizes from 25 to 50. Thickness range from 100 to 500 micron. The feed rate is relatively slow because of the application in ceramic, so it could range only from 5 to as fast as 25 millimeter per second. And spindle speed, depending on what blade you are using, will just range from 10 to 40. So this is one of the few challenging applications that requires blades, ceramic materials. And next to it is more popular in the market is the LED packaging. LED packaging usually consists of a base substrate upon which the LEDs are mounted. So there are a few common base substrates that are used in the market. That could be ceramic, PCB, and also a molded lead frame is also a popular substrate. The few challenges that we faced on this particular packaging is the chipping, because if it's on a ceramic substrate, then it will be very susceptible to a lot of chippings. For another thing is cracks. That's also related to a harder type of substrate. Copper burst, die size stability, that would be related to how the blade is wearing. If you are losing your thickness, the die size will definitely change. And the low blade wear. So the customers or the market always expects that you deliver a very good amount of blade wear and able to maintain the very significant amount of cost. So in general, for this particular packaging, the recommendation or the process could either use a hard nickel blade when you are using a soft base substrate, or you could use a soft resin blade if the customer or if the substrate is using a hard base substrate. So for the nickel, it's for the 2-inch blade nickel, your grid size would range from 10 to 50 micron with 80 to 300 micron of thickness. Feed rate is relatively not as slow as, because it also could go as fast as 80. So the range can be from 30 to 80 depending on the thickness of the substrate. Spindle speed would range from 20 to 30. When you're dicing a hard LED based substrate, then you're going to use a resin soft blade. Then the diamond grit range will also be similar. It's 30 to 50 micron. Thickness would be within 200 to 350 micron. But relatively, if you're going to cut with resin blade, somehow if you're cutting a hard base substrate, then feed rates are going to be slower than the usual. So the feed rate range for this hard substrate would be just 5 to 20 millimeter per second. Spindle speed would be within 20 to 30 K RPM. Then after the packaging or the packaging that we discussed for microelectronic components or MEC dicing, there's also a few popular applications or popular materials that are used and requires blade and a dicing process. So those are mainly glass, ceramic, alumina, MLCC, PZT for medical devices, PCB, or SAW devices. If you're dealing with the glass substrate or a glass material, it's a hard and brittle material. There's a lot of application that this is being used for MEMS, biotech, IC or semiconductors, or optical devices as well. So the challenges when you're dealing with a glass substrate is definitely chippings again, or top and backside chippings. Cracks are also a possibility because you're dealing with the hard and brittle material. So when your material is hard, definitely your blade life or tool life will be low. So this is another challenge that the market is expecting the blade to deliver a good amount of blade life. And another thing is cut perpendicularity. You need to maintain the straightness. Cut perpendicularity refers to the straightness of the cut line that you make. So for a glass substrate, you have to maintain a very straight line. There's aspects for the perpendicularity as well. And on some application, there's also specs for the finish, cut finish. It's how smooth or how rough you're leaving the cut line. So there are two types of blades that recommendable for this application for glass. You could do it with a resin blade. Also, you could also do it with a sintered metal blade. So the grit size for both of this blade type would range from 10 to 88 micron, 10 to 70 if you're using a sintered blade. The thickness range for the resin would be from 75 to 500 micron, and you can do it with a thicker blade because a sintered blade can support a more thicker blade. So for if you're using a sintered blade for this, it's 100 to 2 mm. But the feed rate is relatively on the low side for these two, even if you're using for these two type of blades. You will have an easier, or you have a slightly faster feed rate if you're cutting it with a resin blade with 20 mm per second compared to the sintered blade, which can only limit you until 10 mm per second. Spindle speed, again, would be dependent on the blade size or the equipment that you're using. So this is also something that needs to be developed. For MEC, there's similar ceramic alumina for MEC components. I mean, dicing MEC. So it's similar to what I mentioned earlier. It's you're still dealing with a ceramic or with an alumina. So this is a very hard and brittle material. So same challenges would still face you: chippings, cut straightness, I mean perpendicularity, or a short blade life. So all of these three things needs to be optimized or needs to be considered in order to define the best blade or best blade matrix or formulation that you can use. For this type of material, we can either do it with a resin or a sintered blade, depending on the outcome or the expectation of the quality. The OD size can be from 2, 3, or 4 inches. For the resin, the diamond grit range can be from 30 to 88 micron. If you're using a sintered, it can be from 10 to 70. Thickness range would be from 100 to 300 micron for the resin, and 100 to 2 mm for sintered blade type. Again, it's similar to what I've shown you earlier. The cutting feed rate, you would have a slightly faster feed rate with using a resin blade, but relatively still low, considering the speed can only go as much as 20 mm per second. So spindle speed, again, is relative to the blade size that you are using, and then the machine that you're going to dice it with. Next to the MEC application, or MLCC, or what they call the green ceramic, this is a multi-layer. It's just a basic capacitor, consists of two conducting electrodes separated by an insulating dielectric material. Multi-layer ceramic capacitors consist of a large number of closely spaced parallel electrodes within thin layers of high capacitance ceramic material. The green ceramic, the common application here is dry dicing. So there's no coolant, there's no water that's being used during the dicing process. So without this water or coolant, you're dealing with a lot of dicing dust or material dust during the dicing process. So this is causing a lot of issues. This is one of the challenges if you're going to deal with this kind of packaging. Blade clogging is also common because you're not flushing away the waste materials during dicing, and it's going to load up on the blade. It can clog your blade, and it can load up your blade. So when you have a loaded blade or when you have a clogged blade, you would have a poor quality in terms of smearing, or if the smearing can go very much worse, then it can also lead to lead shorting. So these are the few challenges that needs to be looked at. That is why for this particular blade, if you're doing this with a nickel blade, you would notice that sometimes the recommendation is to have serrations. If you look at this, the right photo here, you would have see that this blade have serrations on the surface. The serrations helps to reduce blade loading or helps in lowering the cutting temperature because you get like a free pockets from the edge of the blade, so you're able to reduce the cutting temperature and reduce the loading to a certain level that you will have no I mean you will be helpful to eliminate the blade loading or clogging. So for this particular nickel blade, it can be made for 2 or 3 or 4 inches. Diamond grid size would just range similar to the other ceramic applications of 30 to 50 micron. Thickness range from 150 to 350 micron is available. Feed rate is relatively high considering this is a dry dicing, but this is a very soft. This is like a soft ceramic, green ceramic, so you can cut it very high. The issue is mostly on the dust or other process. But in terms of quality, you could cut it at high speed, even at 250 millimeter per second. Spindle speed would range or would depend on the blade size again, so can range from 12 to 30 kRPM. And another application for the MEC dicing is PZT, lead zirconate titanate. It's a ceramic material which has a piezoelectric properties. The most common application is ultrasonic imaging. So our customers who use this blade are packaging ultrasound transducers. So for medical industry. So this blade is expected to be used with a very high amount of exposure. I mean, the process expectation here is to use a very long blade and a very thin cut line. So the combination of those two parameters limits the blade's ability to cut at high speed, and also limits the blades. I mean, it's risking the blade to have a lot of vibration. So there's a very tight requirement of balancing. If you're doing this application, the blades have to be very much balanced. This can be done also on a hub blade because the hub blades are somehow have a very stable balance compared to annular blade, but it depends on how much exposure or how much length is needed for the blade exposure. Then you can do it with the annular blade. You can also do this with the hub blade. So so what it was mentioned here that the tight tolerances are dependent on the blade straightness. I mean, the pitch of the cut line is also very tight. So the straightness, the balance of the blade, and its ability to cut straight is the main thing for this particular application. So nickel is a very good blade to cut straight and to have a very stiff strength. So nickel is a very reliable blade for this application. So the diamond grid size range is 3 to 10. Thickness range is shown here. Feed rate is very slow at 6 mm per second, and the spindle speed at 20 to 30 kRPM. And another common application under MEC is PCB. This is just a very soft substrate. Customers can either use a nickel or, the market can use nickel or can use a sinter blade, depending on how thick you are going to cut the substrate. So for the nickel blade, for the nickel blade, there are two sizes available, 2 and 4 inches. And the diamond grid size would range from 10 to 50 micron. This would be depending on what is the expected chip size during the dicing process. Thickness range of 75 micron to 300, and the feed rate of 50 to 150 millimeter per second. You would see here that the feed rate is relatively not so slow because this is just a very soft substrate. If you're using a sintered blade, there's also a few blade models that is available with ADT. Comes in almost all sizes of the blade. The grid size range is within the same range as well, 20 to 70 micron. The thickness range of 100 to 2 mm is also available depending on what is the required curve or cut line. And feed rate, since this is a sinter blade, the blade is less likely to go. I mean, in terms of loading, this has lower loading compared to a nickel blade, so a faster cut speed can be applied. And once again, the spindle speed is relevant to what the blade size or equipment this process is set up. And then for SAW devices, circus acoustic wave devices under the MEC components dicing, devices that make use of ability of piezoelectric materials to convert acoustic waves into electromagnetic signals and vice versa. So the SAW band pass filters, this is the common devices that we are supporting our blades with. The most widely used substrates are quartz, also lithium niobate and lithium tantalate. So these materials are very brittle. They require a very very high accuracy. I mean, very tight tight on chippings and cracks and all of these quality indices. So of course quality. So most of the time, this application, or I mean, for this particular application, this is this is well to be used by or to use by a resin blade. So we have a few models that we use for this particular application, mostly on 2-inch diameters, because if you're dealing with a very hard or very sensitive type of material, for sure the setup for the exposure has to be to a minimum or to be a very balanced blade. So 2 inch is always good. 2-inch blade is always good for this process. With a diamond grid size of 15 to 45 micron, thickness range of 100 to 200 micron, and feed rate is on the low side. It can be as slow as 2, but can be the best thing that we can do is 20 millimeter per second. And again, the spindle speed is relevant to the blade size that we are going to use. So one of the I would like to talk about wet QFN, or the automotive packages. The automotive device, for example, is QFN, and there's a requirement for automotive device to improve solderability or reliability of the solder. So they require, or they have a new requirement, or they develop a requirement for a wet QFN process. Following the demand of the automotive industry for cheap soldering that will withstand 0 faults over time, we have developed solutions for the wettable technology. So the design of this blade is to, the design is to ensure the highest safety standards for the automotive industry. So the wettable technology is a requirement for most of our customers doing automotive packages or automotive devices. So one of the thing that was developed or changed here from the normal QFN process flow was to improve the plating process. I mean, here on you see on their left side, they require a first pass blade with the slightly wider thickness. They require the blade to cut or to shallow cut through the scribe line. So you would develop a certain profile scribe on the top of the leads. So after you have gone through this with the first pass or the shallow cut pass, the substrates or the lead frames will go again for another plating procedure before it goes through a second cut or a second cut to your right that you will see here that it will full cut the unit. So the additional plating that was placed after the first shallow cut was performed would help to show this. You see on the photo on the right bottom, you would see that you would develop a certain fillet of solder that you would see during the mounting process to the board. So one of the things that is improved here is the reliability of the solder and your ability to inspect the units easily and fast compared to the X-ray or compared to the AOI that they do. For automotive devices, there's a requirement to ensure that the solderability is of high reliability. So the spec was improved. So this is one way that was that the automotive industry came up with and required everyone to develop what they call the wet QFN. So for this particular application, we support this type of application with two different type of blades. The first cut of blade will have to absorb or dissipate the heat because you're going to half cut or do a shallow cut on the leads for the first blade. And normally there's a lot of loading because of the plating material as well. So the blade that we recommend is what we call the T07 model. So with the diamond range of 45 to 88, a feed rate of 20 to 40. So you are just cutting a slightly half of the thickness of the leads. And for the saw-through blade, we use another blade matrix. This is quite popular with this blade develops or this blade can deliver very long blade life and very good quality even at high speed. So the D02 matrix is used for the second cut. So customers who are normally requiring blades for wet QFN packages, then these are the popular models, or these are the few of the models that we start with. So and lastly, for the blade solutions for dicing application, when you talk about semiconductor dicing, this is just concentrated on the front end of the assembly. So for semiconductor dicing, there would be about two popular applications: silicon wafers and discrete devices, but mainly on silicon-based material, and gallium arsenide wafers. So this is another application. So the silicon is the most common material. It is brittle, and the wafers are ranging from 12 inches diameter to 6 and 8, but 8 being the most common. So the thickness range for the silicon wafers are 200 to 800 micron range. But now the industry is of course density improving the density of the dies for each wafer. So the demand for the streets to be very narrow is very common. So the main issue when you try to to recommend a hub blade for a particular narrow scribe line silicon sewing is the curve width. The normal demand for the curve width now can go as low as small as a 15 micron to 20 micron. So this kind of narrow scribe lines are very challenging to deliver with a good amount. I mean, with a relatively passable amount of chippings, because chipping size is somehow relative to the grid sizes. So grid sizes with the combination of other factors, when you create chip size and you're doing it to a very narrow scribe line, is very problematic. So this is a few of the challenges for the silicon wafer that we face currently in the industry. We are almost most of the time doing this with the hub blade. But for customers who are not maintaining a very tight scribe line and their wafers are silicon wafers, their particular application would be on the high side of the thickness, then customers or some other applications, this can also be done with a hubless annular blade. So another thing of challenge that we face on the silicon wafers are contaminations, because this can develop a lot of silicon dust and a lot of ESD issues. So this is quite common, and this can be all optimized. So once again, for silicon wafers, hub blades are mainly what the market is using. The OD is at 2 inches. Grid size is from 1500 to 3500 mesh. Thickness of 15 micron to as thick as 120 micron. Feed rate can be 10 to 120, but that this can still go up to until 150 or even 180. Feed rate, spindle speed is dependent on the blade size. And gallium arsenide is a semiconductor material characterized by a direct band gap, which enables to emit light. So for the LED industry, for the LED packaging, sewing gallium, they're always developing gallium arsenide wafers. And what are the challenges for this kind of particular wafer is the same. It's the upside and backside chipping. Also, the cracking that you can develop because of the structure of how the wafers are made. The backside is also susceptible to backside chippings. And of course, the toxicity of the gas dust is also important. It's also a control that needs to be addressed on the equipment. So for gallium arsenide, this is a established process in the blade as well. So mainly for hub types of blade, 2 inches is common because if you're using a hub type blade. Diamond grid size can range from 1 to 4 micron or 3500 to 5000 mesh. Thickness from 15 to 30 micron or 25 to 120 if you're using a hubless blade. And feed rate is relatively low at 1 to 5 mm per second. Spindle speed, again, is dependent on what blade or diameter you're using. So I can cut my presentation here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, in case if you have few more slides, it's no issues. You can continue, or we have concluded another.
We have few slides more, but we should cut. Yeah, if we have 5-7 minutes more, Carlo will continue. But I know it's more than it's 4 o'clock, so we can cut.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
thank you, sirs, for your time. Thank you for invitation. So we will be glad to assist you in all projects and really invite you to visit us at Semicon India and Semicon Taiwan. We will be glad and happy to assist you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you.
So thank you. So we will take some questions. Please, we'll take some questions. I invite questions from the delegates. So in the meantime, I have a question. So might be a bit elementary. So since you are from the represent consumables of ADT, So I think for the dicing, the blade is going to be the major consumable. And in the blade, you have this diamond grit, so which is in the periphery of your blade, which actually cuts the wafer. So during this process, this diamond grit wears out and gets removed and becomes a debris of the cutting process. Is there a way to extract this diamond particles from the debris and reuse it or recycle it? Is there a way for it?
Alex?
Yes, Carlo. Yes, you can reply.
Well, I have faced these questions with a few engineers in the past, but we never really considered the recycling because these diamonds are synthetic diamonds, right? So we never actually considered, as far as ADT as a blade manufacturer, to recycle these used up diamonds. Maybe on the end user side, for each customer, so when they're using these blades or when they're using this in the dicing process, if they have a system or if they can develop such a process to salvage used diamonds, then it can be remarkable.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for the clarification. Let me check if we have some questions from delegates from the YouTube. One second, let me check it.
Why two-step cutting?
Yeah, there is a question from the audience from Dr. Ramachandran. So why two-step cutting, shallow cut and cut through for wettable QFN? And he's also asking, what is a wettable QFN?
Wettable QFN is they call it wettable QFN because for the name itself, wet, they would like to see a wettable part of the leads, because when you solder two materials together, there's like a bleeding. There's like a wet bleeding that happens on the solder part of the leads. So this is something that the solder would be as evident as to have a very good how you call it tightness, or as a good reliability. This is one indication to have like a wet markings on the solder. But the reason why they needed to do this was because for a regular QFN in the past, if you are dealing with the standard singulation, one pass singulation, and then the diced unit where you see an exposed copper leads that goes through the downstream process, these leads can develop some oxidation. So this oxidation can also hamper the reliability of the solder for the next process. So one of the things that they want to one of the things that automotive devices want to preserve is to eliminate this reliability issue of oxidation on the leads, because it can happen during the process flow of the regular QFN. Before you are able to mount the units to the board, the leads can get oxidized. For the wettable QFN, for this new requirement of wettable QFN, during the first pass, when you create the groove on the lead frame, when you create the groove, the next process would be a plating process. So you would see that once the groove are created, the scribe is created, they would have a process of plating, tin plating or solder plating for the next pass, and this would eliminate the possibility of oxidation during the downstream process, because after the plating process, it goes back to the normal assembly, and then the second blade will cut it. So you will have a profile on the leads, like a shape profile, but there's a filled up solder already on the part of dust that leads. So this part of the additional solder that was put on the first pass, and you eventually cut it with the saw-through pass, you would leave a solder fillet on that corner. I'm not sure if you can imagine it, but that solder fillet is the one that is creating the fillet when you mount it for the board. And when you mount it for the board, that fillet can create a small wet condition, like a marking of wet condition. That is one reason they call it wet QF. I hope you can imagine. Okay, can imagine it.
Okay. So thank you, Mr. Carlo Arivalo, for the great detailed explanation and clarification for the great presentation. So I would like to thank the entire edit team. So the entire board is present here. I came to know. So we have Mr. Hai is the CEO of ADT. We have Mr. Yossi G is the Vice President, Equipment. And we have Mr. Alex Grouser, we have Mr. Carlo Arivalo, and also we have Mr. Nabil from ADT India. So we extremely thank you for having the entire ADT team for this event. We thank you once again. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Looking forward for
Thank you.
collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.